ready, Pete. Loud. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Access 23's Mr. Phil Show. I'd like to introduce to you the one, the only, the Mr. Phil. Good to see you today, Phil.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Mr. Phil Show. So,
we've had quite an eventful week.
yes,
We've been going out, and I'm going to get new glasses, and Phil helped me with that.
right,
That was wonderful.
yes,
And we've been practicing and working on some songs
right,
that we're going to be doing for a new album.
yes,
we're
that's
working
right.
on.
Working on a new album together, and Mary is not just a co-host for this show, but she's a partner of mine too.
Yes.
And I even sent out a message on Facebook on both pages, on the Phil Wiener page as well as the Mr. Phil Show page, of this new change. And it's just that, my career has gotten to a point now, where I really, need help with it in running it, not just on the show here, because there's so much to do, so many phone calls to make, getting people, and, trying to, you got to have, eyes on both sides of your head, actually, now.
Yeah, and then some.
So that's why, this change had to take place. And I got the right person.
I hope you did.
Yes.
I hope you did. And if I'm not, I hope you find the right person. I mean,
No,
that's all I can do. Is
I
wish
got
you the
it.
best.
I got it.
Okay. Well, eventually, I will also be having a page put up, and when that gets up, we'll give you the address
Right.
for that too, so you can kind of look at both of our things and
Yes.
see what kind of trouble we've been getting into.
Right. And another new thing that you started doing to me. Before the show, you locked me into a closet.
I've been locking him in a closet now lately.
Yes.
I make him make the grand entrance. He's the grand Mr. Phil. He's got to make his grand entrance.
Right.
Absolutely, yes.
Oh.
You'll notice, I think, that since I've been here, this is my 5th show. Every week I try to add a little something different to the show until we get it to exactly where we want it to be. And if you're watching and you get on the Mr. Phil website and you like what you see, please do us a favor and send us a message and let us know what you like. If there's something you don't like, let us know, and we'll see what we can do about that.
Right.
The one thing that I would like to mention, and I don't know, I believe it's on your website, is our telethon. Is it on your website when the telethon is?
I'll give the dates. I'll give the dates of it, and that is Saturday, May 14th, from 2:00 p.m. to 7:00 p.m. And we're going to have various guests on that show, as well as tonight's major guest, the lady of country, Josie Lou, who's been on all the telethons.
That's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and anybody that's in the area, you're welcome to come down. We're looking for the donations, so we can keep Access 23 alive and moving. Anybody who wants to come down and be in the live studio audience, we won't say no. just come on down.
Right.
So in the meantime, I think that we've got everything else, I think, covered as far as stuff that should be online. If there's something you think we're missing, let us know.
Right. And, we are booking these shows, with great guests, all the way, through the spring.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
are.
it's getting so where people are calling us to be on the show now.
Yes. There's a lot of great local talent out there. And what we need is the local talent, and we need people that have their own songs. It's stuff that they've written themselves. We have the opportunity to be able to give you a place to play that will also be able to have it seen in a wider area than what you would normally see if you were just playing a club around here.
Especially all our affiliates,
Yes.
all our satellite stations,
Absolutely.
like the Time Warner of the Hudson Valley, the different areas that we service, as well as MNN in Manhattan, on Lifestyle TV,
Right.
and as well as the Brooklyn Public Access.
Right. Right. Now, is that listed on your website? The different areas and the different times that things will be on. So
We're going to
people
have to
will-
put that in there.
We should put that in there.
Yeah, we should
This
put
way
that in there.
everybody can go
because
in and
we've
say,
added-
hey, when's it on in my area?
Yeah, we've added, all these areas.
Yeah, yeah. And this way we can tell them, hey, you know what? Go to the Mr. Phil page and look and see when we're going to be airing our show in your area,
Right,
and then they can tune in and watch that night.
right. And of course, I'm out there looking for other areas too.
Oh, of course. Yep. Anybody that'll have us.
Yes. Like one of our guests, Zarina, they're looking to see if they could get them into their area.
Right. Right. Well, and that's just it. We're a nice a stepping stone for the local talent to be able to use us and use us as a stepping stone, like I said,
Right.
and get into lots of other areas.
Well, and look how many people have actually gotten careers
That's
from
true.
being right here.
That's true. It starts small, and if you're lucky, you get big.
Right. And like the one I always mention, I mean, what was funny about this one, she was 13 years old, and she started here when we were just alone over here in Port Jervis.
In Port Jervis.
We were PJDP TV at that time,
Okay.
and she came in here and started back then, and this is 9 years ago, and when we were just local.
Yeah.
And the way she did it back then, I mean, she'd come in here and always buy the copy of the show.
Right.
And by buying the copy of the show, she showed it around to different agents, casting directors,
That's right.
musical directors, and
It's a great video resume.
yes,
Absolutely. Let somebody see what you really can do, not just tell them.
right. When I was down in Tennessee one time, so a TV show that I was doing down there, they were really pushing. At that time, it was VHSs. It's so long ago.
Oh, gosh, that's a long time
Yeah,
ago.
they were selling VHSs down there, and they were telling the people, everybody who appears on the show should buy a VHS because it's going to show that you were on,
That's right.
that you were on TV.
That's right.
And let me tell you, people listened. They did it.
Yes.
And this was a show that was like a karaoke show back then, and it was so big that so many people used to come on there, and everybody who came on there gave them, the money and bought,
Yes.
because over there, that was like I'm not saying a major network,
Right.
but they had the facilities to show different shots of you, different color shots from all angles and stuff like that. I mean, and that was, you know, I have copies of the times I was down there.
Right.
And, you know, those are professional shots. Then they'd show the audience.
Yeah.
I mean, and the lights and everything. I got to show this to you sometime.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to see that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, right. You know, so I'm saying, so that's the most important thing when you come on this show, to support the station that way too. That, you know, we sell the copies of the show for $10 a piece, a complete DVD of the show, and you have it for life, and you're able to, you know, pass it around.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be that you're just buying one for you. You can decide you want to buy one and give it to your grandmother, as well as buy one for yourself. So you can buy two. Okay, that's $20. But you know, you've got a great gift for grandma now, because she's got you right there, and she can plug in and see you whenever she wants to.
I want to tell you, we did a telethon all the way back around. I remember this telethon we did back in 2001, and Sandy was answering the phones, and there was this group of dancers that used to come on, little kids, and the mothers used to bring them down here for the telethon, and they'd pack up the lobby. It was on a Sunday at the time we used to do like a 8-hour telethon on a Sunday afternoon at the end of October. They were packed, and they were on for quite a while. They used to do different acts, and so my wife came out to them one day and said to the mothers, it would be great if you could buy a copy of the show. And she says, you know, and she says, this way you could show
That's right.
all these directors or wherever you go what they are, what they've done. I want to tell you, they listened and started buying those things.
That's right.
You know, and then she did the same thing, you know, every year.
And that's a great thing. Like I said, I mean, to be able to walk into an interview somewhere or looking for a job and say, you know, I don't have to just tell you what I do. I can prove to you what I can do.
Right.
And hand them a DVD and say, here, why don't you watch my performance? It really makes a difference.
That's the way I got onto Jimmy Kimmel, you know.
Oh yeah, I
Because
believe.
anybody could go to a computer and say, I've done this, that, this, and that, and just type it up.
That's right. But to be able to have that piece of proof and be able to show that to someone.
Right.
Yeah.
All these shows that I did, these national shows, I always gave them a copy to see what I did, and that's how I always, you know, got onto these shows.
That's right.
From the first show that I did all the way back 97, less than a year of doing this show, we started in 96. There was a show on MTV, and I gave them a copy of the Mr. Phil show to look at.
Right.
And right away they booked me.
Okay. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, seeing is so much better than hearing that, oh, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Let's prove it. And, you know, you come down, come on our show, buy one of the DVDs, and you've got something now that you can prove what you can do.
Right.
So I think maybe you think now we should probably introduce our guest and
Okay. All righty.
see what kind of things she's got new for us.
Okay. I'm going to introduce the guest. We'll talk to her, and then we'll play. We got a special treat for you.
Okay.
We have a music video of mine.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay. Come on down, Josie Lou.
Hello, it's nice to see you. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. Phil?
And
Mary.
Mary, right.
Yeah.
From what I understand, you've been doing this for quite a while.
Oh, years and years and years.
Well, that's great
Yeah.
because, you know, somebody's got to let me know how
Yeah.
things go, right?
Yep. Well, I brought a couple of my records today,
Oh,
just so you can see what I've been up to. Well, this is my CD.
Very nice. This is Josie Lou CD. I don't know if you can see that.
This is a copy of my first record.
Beautiful. Oh, I love the
Yes,
dog.
that's how long.
I love the dog.
Everybody says that. Okay.
There we
They
go.
don't say anything about how nice I look. They like the
Josie
dog.
Lou looks wonderful. She looks beautiful. And, you know, the dog's just a prop. But I think this looks wonderful. Thank you for bringing these so we can see them.
A friend of my partner's worked on this farm, and we said, well, the dog would be nice. Let's put the dog in the picture. You know, they had horses
And you know what?
a dog.
The dog looks like he or she enjoys being in the picture as well.
Well, I'll tell you what. You see this? I'm holding on him for dear life. 'Cause you know what? Yeah, because somebody, just before we shot the picture, somebody threw a stick.
Oh,
And he wanted to go and get the stick
to
again. And I
was
said,
time
why
to
did
fetch.
they do that? You know?
Right.
So it looks so natural, right? But I'm holding him tight. I'm holding him on the gruff of his neck there.
Giving away secrets that we
was
never
funny.
would have known. That's the fun of having guests.
Yeah, it was fun. I tell
we
you.
get the little.
We had to do it a couple times before we make sure we get him right.
That's great.
Yeah.
But it's a
So,
great picture.
But I started out. I started playing the guitar when I was like 6 and a half, and my brother played, so I said
You
I can
played
play
guitar
too.
at 6
He
and a
can play,
half.
I can play, right?
Wow.
So then I just did the old songs that my parents knew, and
Of
stuff.
course.
And then later on, when I was a teenager, I heard Eddie Arnold sing. Now
Wow.
a lot of the young folks out there
That's
probably
going
won't know
back,
who
right.
Eddie Arnold is.
They'll have to ask their
But he
grandparents.
was a
yes.
great singer of our time. He made it up to his 90s or something, and he died like in 2000 or something right around there.
Yeah.
And he was still singing, still going strong.
Mhm.
And he made a lot of hits, a lot of #1 hits
Wow.
in his day.
Yeah.
And when I heard him sing Bouquet of Roses, and Kitty Wells was one of my favorites, girl singers, and I said, well, I can do that. I can sing those songs. I loved the popular music of at that time, and my parents sang like, the Doris Days and the people like that, but I knew I didn't have the range to do that. I could sing at my bedroom and pretend I was them,
Sure.
but I knew I couldn't do that. I am an alto. I couldn't do that. So I said, well, I can sing country western music, right? I can do that. And then little ballads and stuff like that, I can do that. I never did Cattle Call, though. I never tried that one. That was one of his. But I said, well, I can do that. So then later on, this is what happened with my career, if you'd like to know. I did a talent show, and I think I was the oldest one there. There were young
Wow,
kids,
okay.
and I just did it for fun at
Sure.
a Roundout Valley School in Accord. And I didn't win, of course, but this man come backstage, and he says, how would you like to be on the radio?
Wow.
It was Harry Thayer who owned the radio station in Kingston. And I said, oh, sure. Well, of course, you think to yourself, he says, I'll call you in a week. Will he call? Is he just saying that,
Right.
I liked your singing, Well, he did. He called in a week, and he said, I'd like you to do a half-hour show. Come down and do a tape. And he says, and I sang this song called Truck Driving Woman. He says, I don't care what else you sing, but start with that one. So I said, okay. So I went in, and I did the tape. And before the show even started, it was on a Saturday, he said, we're going to make it an hour instead of a half hour.
Wow.
Half hour's not long enough. Let's make it an hour.
That's great.
You'll take a request. People would call in. They'd send me little notes. I had a mailbox all to myself. Wow. That was
Wow.
a big deal. I was a star.
Sure.
So okay. So I took requests, and I would sing, play my guitar and sing, and then I'd play the records, spin the records. And lo and behold, this Gil Rogers, who ended up being my partner, his girl singer didn't come back from Nashville. They went to Nashville to cut a record, and
She stayed.
she didn't come back that weekend. So
okay.
he calls me up. He had heard me on the radio, and he called me up and he said, would you like to come and be a substitute,
Wow.
it's not going to be a long time job, the girl didn't come back. She'll probably be back next week.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of weeks went by. She didn't come back. She had a
Wow.
husband, but she kind of met somebody down there.
Oh, no.
I don't know what it
Okay,
was.
that's another story.
Yeah, well, another story.
Show,
That's
right?
another show. Right? So it turned out to be a temporary job of 20 years.
Wow, that's quite a
That's
temporary
wow.
job.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we went on to record 2 other albums. In fact, I brought those 2 just to show you.
Well, let's see them.
This is our first one we did together.
Oh,
Wow, look at that.
Wow.
That was the first one we did together.
That's amazing to be able to, have that and be able to show it.
And he already had albums of his own. He had recorded years ago
Right.
before that. And then this is our last album that we'd made. And we did this in Parksville. You know where Parksville is up here?
No, where's
It's,
Parksville?
it's up in
Go up
Sullivan
17,
County.
you go up 17.
It's above
Okay.
Liberty.
Parksville at a campground there.
Oh, all right.
And we got all our friends and fans to be in the picture.
So what year
Yeah.
was this one done?
That was around 85 or 86, somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it's been
Okay,
a while.
so that means you're due for one, right?
Yeah. Well, I got the CD,
Okay, you
Carl
got
helped.
that's it.
that
You
was-
got the CD.
No,
so.
that was from my album. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
the songs from my album are in here, plus some that are on the other
That are on
albums.
the other. Okay.
that I did by myself, So I made it into 15 songs instead of 10,
Right.
But Carl Richards did this for me. He made the CD for
Very
me.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and taped it and
Yes.
did it
He
all in
always does.
Nashville, but
He's, he's
Yeah.
He
he's
does
good-
some
good
night-
for that.
that was a
Mhm.
great thing that he did because we never got into the CDs. We had cassettes, and then CDs were coming in because
Right.
But we put all this money into the other things, the records and the CDs. We couldn't afford to do that right
No,
then.
that was a point in time
so-
when things were changing pretty
Yeah.
fast.
So then my
Yeah.
partner retired, so that was that.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's my big career.
Wow.
But then of course coming here and doing these shows with Carl Richards and that guy over there
This Mr. Phil guy here, huh?
and the telethons. I mean, I've done a ton of those, I guess, right? Yeah, and a lot of different shows, benefit shows, and
That's great. It
Around
sounds
it.
like it's
Yeah.
probably been a lot of fun and
Yeah.
a nice ride.
yep, it has. Yeah, I've had fun since he retired. I mean,
Right.
I did some singing with some other bands after he retired. I went
Okay.
around to the clubs and stuff and sang with him. A lot of fun.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
So-
what it's all about. It's
Yeah.
all in the name
Yeah.
of fun. And
Yeah.
hey, if we can make money at it at the same time while we're
Yeah.
doing it,
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't
that
do-
makes it
make
twice
too much
the
money
fun.
after that, but
You
but
know,
we went up and down the East Coast. We went
oh, wow.
in the last few years before he retired. We went to Florida every year,
right?
and we said, the clubs weren't doing that much up here,
Okay. Okay.
and so we called some places in Florida, and we found out they wanted entertainment, and we tried it for a month
Right.
just to see if it would go over good, and it did. So then we got more dates, and
Wow.
we went from November to April. And so
Right,
get
just
away
in
from
Florida.
this winter and go down to Florida.
Wow. That got you right out of this.
And
That's great.
Yeah, and some of those were nice big places. I mean, they had a lot of them were big stages, and they could hold several hundred people. And then we played some smaller ones too.
Oh yeah.
But there was a lot of nice big ones with a lot of people. A lot of people from Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, we met a lot of people from Canada. And one lady, I did an Anne Murray song, and she comes up to me and she says, "I'm from Canada, and you sing just like Anne Murray." Well, of course, I didn't let it go to my head. I took it with a grain of salt. But I thought that was so sweet of her.
That was
you know,
very nice. Yes.
And, that was really nice. Met a lot of nice people. They come down with their motorhomes, from Wisconsin and
Oh, a lot of
Minnesota
people,
and
yeah.
all the snowbirds, Yeah.
Yeah.
So. it was
And
ni-
then
it
how
was
did you get
fun.
involved with Carl?
Hmm?
How did you get involved with Carl?
How did I get involved with Carl? I sang with his band a few years.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I guess he knew who I was, and because he said he met me years ago in one of the places, and he never introduced himself. I didn't know who he was, But he had called me and he asked me to sing with his band a few
Right.
times, a few dates, So then, and then he asked me for the TV show. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was nice.
Oh, we used to have some, I just wish you were around back then. with us because we had some wonderful times. Like we used to have these jamborees at the Orange County Fair.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another, that was, the end of July into August. On a Sunday afternoon, they'd have everybody in the whole area get up and do a set.
Oh, wow.
Then we had another fair from this area down the road called the Deer Park Folk Festival.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I did
And-
that one too. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I had some wonderful times over there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That was nice.
Definitely sounds like something I missed out on, but.
Yeah, I mean, the Deer Park Festival, I mean, that was our own. That was, from Port Jervis.
Right.
And it used to go like for about 4 days and continuous entertainment. And we had a jamboree over there also, I mean, and it was wonderful. In fact, I remember your specialty, it was usually like around 4th of July. I always remember you singing God Bless America.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, Carl always wanted me to do that. Yeah.
Right.
Sing God Bless America.
Right.
And not everybody can do that song justice, so you must have been very good at it.
Well,
Yes.
everybody liked it, I guess, and
If you ask
everybody
you-
likes God Bless America, right?
Well, right, but I mean, like I said, it's not an easy song
Yeah,
to sing.
yeah.
I do that one myself, and if you're not good at it, they're not going to ask you to sing it again. So you
Right.
must have done a decent job.
I guess so. Yeah. Since he asked me to do it the next time.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right,
Yes.
right. Yeah.
But we had wonderful times in those days. I
Yeah.
mean, and
Wow.
Carl had,
a lot of different people, a lot of different entertainers
yeah,
that would come and sing, and it was fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And remember the Our Ladies of Country?
Yeah, Ladies of Country we had for a while, right?
Right.
With Carl. Yeah.
Wow.
And we used to go from place to place.
Mm-hmm.
Like then we had the Sussex Fair, the New Jersey
Mhm.
State
Yeah,
Fair.
we did that every year too, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes,
Gee.
we had so many different places in the summer that we used to go to, and we had a great time
Mm-hmm.
with
That sounds
these.
like a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. Gee, where was I during all that? Probably raising children.
Right, but, and it was so funny. Some of those country singers went to Nashville.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I met one down there too.
Did you?
Yes, there was this girl named Peggy Sue.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, I remember Peggy Sue, yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was
And
good.
It was a funny thing with Peggy Sue that I knew her even before she came over, to call.
Okay.
Because I had done my first TV show here in August of '94 on a Thursday. So I was the first one out of that crowd,
Wow.
that karaoke crowd and everything,
Let's
to,
get
to be brave enough to come here and do that.
Okay.
So I did that. And we had at the Washingtonville Brotherhood Winery, they were doing a talent show a few days later and an oldie show. So I met her over there, and she was 17 years old at the time.
Wow.
So she comes up to me after I performed, and she says, you may be old enough to be my father, but I've been doing this, much longer than you have. And she was giving me advice, and she says, if you listen to what I tell you and how to do it, you'll do just fine.
Amazing.
So I had her on my show, and then eventually she moved to Nashville. So I went to Nashville on that trip that I said that I recorded down, in Tennessee, and I was on the TV shows. I go into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and she's performing over there.
Wow.
So it was so funny. The guy who was running the show, I heard the name Peggy Sue. I said, she looks familiar. And I said, is that Peggy Sue Robinson? So he said, I'll ask her after the song is done. So he says, is your name Peggy Sue Robinson? She says, yes. So then he says, were you ever on the Mr. Phil show up in the Northeast? And she says, yes. And he says, can you find Mr. Phil here in this studio?
Wow.
So she found me. I mean, she just screaming, came over to me, hugged me. I mean, it was unbelievable.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Yes.
to be recognized and remembered after all those years.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. So
Yep.
I told her what I was doing down there. So after the show is over, she says, when I first met you, she says, I gave you a speech of what to do. So she says, now you moved on. You're at the next plateau. So she says, I'm going to give you another speech.
Oh.
She says, this time I'm going to tell you, you're away from home. You're away from all your family, friends, and fans. And she says, where you're going, you're going to be by yourself. This is your first time. You're out on your own.
Right.
And she says to me, if you do the same thing you've been doing all along and just go along and, you know, keep, you know, don't get a swollen head down there or anything like that, you'll do fine. So I went over to this, I recorded and did all this. I was down there for 4 days.
Wow.
So at the end of the 4 days, the owner came up to me and said, I'd love you anytime to come back here. And he says, you have a fan club down here now in Tennessee.
Oh, see?
Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
right. And she predicted that was going to happen. She says, when you leave Tennessee, she says, you're going to have a fan club down there.
All right. That sounds really good.
Right. You know, and he had a few others move to Tennessee and, you know, try to get a career going.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
remember,
I mean, I know that's a big place. It drives a lot of people to get down there and try to get into show business. And not everybody makes it, but
No.
apparently you got the great advice and were able to get somewhere with it.
right, I did. Okay, and now, what we're going to do now, we're going to play my music video of We'll
Yeah.
Stand Tall, America.
Yeah, let me see this.
Yes.
We'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall.
We will stand together.
We will stand together.
We'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall
For our country if it calls.
for our country if it calls.
And we'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall.
Everyone wave oh glory.
Wave old glory.
Freedom for the world.
Freedom for the world.
Peace for everyone.
Peace for everyone.
We'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall.
'Cause we are all brothers.
We all are brothers.
We'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall.
One for all and all for one.
One for all and all for one.
We'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall.
'Cause we are all brothers.
We all are brothers.
We'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall.
One for all and all for one.
One for all and all for one.
Yes, we'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall.
Now let's wave our glory.
Wave old glory.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Freedom, everyone.
Everyone.
We'll stand tall.
We'll stand tall.
Now let's wave our glory.
Wave old glory.
We'll stand tall.
everyone will stand tall. If our country ever needs us, we'll stand tall. Freedom rings. We'll stand tall. We will stand together. We'll stand tall. For our country if it calls. We'll stand tall. For our country if it calls. We'll stand tall. For our country if it calls. Wow.
That was something else.
Yes.
I like that.
Good.
Okay.
Okay,
Very
and
inspirational.
now we want to introduce the country girl, Josie Lou.
Thank you, Phil. If you're out on the town tonight, going from place to place, keep an eye out for my creature man. I'm sure you recognize his face. He'll have a big head, you'll hear him moan and groan, and eyes looking into space. Just tell him to phone home. That creature man of mine is spaced out all the time. Instead of me and the kids at home, he's in a world all his own. So if you see that creature man of mine and you could get him all alone, would you kindly whisper in his ear, creature man, phone home. You can always tell my creature man by the funny way he walks. I don't think you'll understand a single word when he talks. Though his feet are on the ground and his head high in the clouds, try to get my creature man alone, tell him to phone home. That creature man of mine is spaced out all the time. Instead of me and the kids at home, he's in a world all his own. So if you see that creature man of mine and you could get him all alone, would you kindly whisper in his ear, creature man, phone home. Would you kindly whisper in his ear, creature man, phone home. That's pretty nice on the record because the guy is in Nashville put a little doodly 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 doo on it in the end there. I can't do that on my guitar, so. This is my first writing endeavor, which was put on my album, and I was quite surprised that my producer accepted it and thought it was okay. The moment that we first met, I knew there was something special in you. A gentleness I saw there in your eyes. You couldn't hide it from me if you tried. A friend to share the good times and the bad. Yes, you've been the best I've ever had. We've shared so many memories with each other, things that we could never tell another. When I feel blue, you always make me smile. Just to hold your hand makes everything worthwhile. I cherish all the things we've done together. Friends, I know we'll always be forever. When I feel blue, you always make me smile. Just to hold your hand makes everything worthwhile. I cherish all the things we've done together. Friends, I know we'll always be forever. I cherish all the things we've done together. Friends, I know we'll always be forever. Thank you, thank you. Here I am, a country girl, out on the town, looking for someone to hold me tight. I never thought this country girl could ever feel this way, but I'm so close to cheating, just 2 arms away. We're dancing together to our favorite song. He's holding me tight the way you do. I know he's been unhappy up until today, 'cause he's so close to cheating, just 2 arms away. We're so close to cheating, but cheaters can't win. With all the love I have for you, why am I with him? Is this the beginning? Am I here to stay? So close to cheating, just 2 arms away. So close to cheating, just 2 arms away.
Wow.
Uh-oh, they're ganging up on me.
Yeah,
look at
right.
this. That was great. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
Now, which one of those do you think you like the best out of the 3?
Out of the 3,
Yeah.
I guess I like Friends.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I know
I
I
like
wrote it,
that.
and my partner wrote a couple of the other
Excuse
ones.
me.
But, you know, it just turned out to be good, and everybody liked it.
That's
You know,
great.
We'd go to places and play and dates, and they danced to, and one couple come up to me and said, it was so cute. She says, can you have can I be your boyfriend and be friends? I said, well, sure. You know? In other words, she thought, well, it was a lot like 2 girls or being friends, you know.
Okay. Continue on.
Okay. So let me step off of these wires. It wouldn't be a good idea to get choked up.
Okay, she could continue on now.
Okay, we're going to let you continue on, and we're just going to say thank you to everybody else for tuning in for tonight, and we are going to have Josie play us out, and thank you for tuning in, and we'll come on back next week.
Thank you. If you knew what I'm thinking, you wouldn't flirt with me. I told you once before that I'm not free. My heart just won't be led astray. I'm just not built that way. So let's be friends and then just let it be. Honky-tonkin', slipping around, that's not my kind of life. I'm just a plain old country girl and I'm a loving wife. There's just one straight road in life and that's the one for me. I told you once before that I'm not free. If you knew what I'm thinking, you wouldn't flirt with me. I told you once before that I'm not free. My heart just won't be led astray. I'm just not built that way. So let's be friends and then just let it be. Honky-tonkin', slipping around, that's not my kind of life. I'm just a plain old country girl and I'm a loving wife. There's just one straight road in life and that's the one for me. I told you once before that I'm not free. I told you once before that I'm not free. do more? Keep going? Okay. I'd like to do one that my friend Valerie wrote the songs to this, and Valerie Huff, and I wrote the